here to talk about animation with me.
They do be animating.
I do be animating. Oh no, I'm being attacked in my own chat.
I can't believe that that's happening.
Yes,
Cats are
I'm being
notoriously
smacked.
really kind.
I got attacked with a trout. I don't have a trout, but I got smacked.
Well, what this you could do? Could you do art of a trout? What would your trout art look like?
Let's see. Let me just draw a trout real quick. I can do that.
Since you're apparently a non-professional streamer who doesn't have trout on hand.
I don't. I am not a professional streamer. Hi, Jax. I'm not a professional streamer. I'm just a regular dude that also streams. But I will draw a trout.
Troutless streamer confirmed.
Troutless streamer. No trout. No trout.
What's that? The thing where it's like the guy from Megamind? No trout?
No trout? No bitches? No trout?
No trout?
Is his name just there? There's a trout. Does that count for anything?
That's I don't know how much of the previous conversation we're talking about. That just from thinking of the previous conversations.
Oh, they didn't hear any of the previous conversation.
Perfect, cool. Then there was no previous conversation is what I was about to say.
They don't know anything about the previous conversations, so as far as they're concerned, there wasn't one.
Yeah, if it didn't happen live, it didn't happen at all.
I think that my audience is aware of the content of the previous conversation, just like what it was. I don't think they're aware of the sequel because I simply cannot read it on stream.
At a certain point, if you keep talking about it, you're gonna have to actually give context. So this is on you at this point. You're just gonna okay, got it. That's fair. You aren't a professional streamer. We already established this. You don't have any trout offhand. You don't have to give any context.
I don't. The context.
Please don't ask me if I have any trout on hand, by the way, because I definitely don't either.
Wow, you're not streaming though, so I guess it's like more understandable.
Yeah, I have a logic for it.
I do have like little dragon butts on hand. They're right here. I don't remember why we drew those. I don't think they were dragon butts initially, but they do look like little dragon butts. I think that they were titties with dragon tails for nipples instead. But they kind of just look like dragon butts. So
I'd agree with that.
I think it's better to say that that's what they are instead of what their original intended purpose was.
There's a lot of things that like you forget the original intended purpose of. Like wasn't Post-it notes originally intended just to be glue, but then they realized they suck at making glue, and so instead they made Post-it notes?
I did not know that, if that's true.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, they were trying to do something for like an adhesive, and it just wasn't sticky enough, and then they're like, you know what if we just want something that's like only a little sticky?
What if it's just a little bit, and then you can just
like
kind of stick it on places, but like it won't stay stuck there?
Exactly.
Like, that's perfect.
Like we get it. We suck, but like, we can just do our best with it.
Just pivot. Just pivot.
Exactly. That makes sense here.
I think so. I think it works. I think it's adapting. Adaptability is sometimes more important than success.
When is that more important than success? When's that better?
In this Post-it note situation where they made shitty glue and then they adapted it to be a different thing, and then they found a different success. Flexibility.
Your Honor, that's fair.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I plead no context.
Your Honor.
Or contest. Or context.
No, we already got rid of context. There's no context.
Yeah, there's no context.
We got rid of that.
I plead no contest.
There's not a contest either. Nobody can win because there's no contest and no context.
What if it was? What would the contest be about if it was a contest? Just so I know if I wanted to win.
In regards to adaptability or success.
I don't even know like what the contest was even in reference to. So yes.
I think it would be contest would be like Survivor. You would have to like do a stupid Survivor challenge, like where they just like stand there. I've never
watched Survivor.
I watched a little bit of Survivor. So, it looks like the worst time I've ever seen. It does not look fun.
That's probably accurate.
There are people who like go on there and they get like severe burns and they have to be like taken out of the island, and I'm like, I don't know why y'all went there in the first place, because it seems shitty. The whole premise is you just like sit there and play mind games and manipulate people, and also you're doing this while you're hungry in a forest with like little to no shelter, and then every now and again some dickhead comes out of the air conditioning and then he puts you through like these dumbass challenges that are like, hold a ball above your head for like 40 hours. And it's like, oh, okay.
So what you're saying is, at least when that happens, they're not having a ball.
Well, they do, as long as they keep it above their head for 40 hours. And then if they win the 40-hour ball holding challenge, then they get to like eat rice.
You can win a 40-hour ball holding challenge, and you can eat rice.
That's what.
You want to eat rice? You don't want to eat rice?
You think I'm joking, but that's how Survivor works. If you ever watch Survivor, it's psychotic. I'm like, why would you ever want to do this? It's not fun.
I do enough mind games just by playing Among Us, all right? And
yeah, but that's not for like an extended period of time with no food. And then, like I said, some fucking guy just shows up and he's like, oh my gosh.
I'll be in the air conditioning.
You can be the air conditioning guy.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Like, I can just sit there,
he's like the host.
Really happy.
I can't
because there are also like the camera crews, right?
Yeah.
They're watching these people literally starve themselves and get in like potentially just die.
Yeah.
And they're like, They're like, I wonder what Arts and Crafts is going to have for lunch.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do. But yeah, I guess I never thought about that. I guess they just, because they'll just take videos of them just like sleeping and shit. So I assume it's different camera crews all the time.
Oh, I do that too. That's normal.
You do that? You just take videos of people sleeping? In the middle of like the woods when it's raining?
My lawyer has advised me not to comment further on this subject.
You know what? That's probably for the best. If I'm honest.
Yeah. If you're honest, cool. What if you were dishonest?
If I'm dishonest, you should continue speaking.
Got it. I don't think I will.
Because I'm not a lawyer.
You're being dishonest.
I am.
No, are you being honest or dishonest there?
That I'm not a lawyer?
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Got it.
Do you think I could pass a bar?
About being honest. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
These are those mind games, but I have a full stomach. Okay. God, I don't know if... I feel like I need to be hungrier to do these mind games.
What does a full stomach have to do with this? I feel like this is a callback to something.
Yeah, you have to be hungry on Survivor, you said.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're not playing Survivor. You're just playing being on the stream and talking.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Which you're doing
so Survivor's my favorite animated show. Actually, isn't that Total Drama Island?
I was literally about to say, I was like, I think that's just Total Drama Island.
Okay, got it.
Which does count. I watched a little bit of Total Drama Island. I don't know. I mean, it has like a bazillion iterations. It had like the Total Drama Babies, which was like...
What?
The worst idea I've ever heard of. You don't know about this?
I definitely do not know about Total Drama Babies. I have never heard of Total Drama Babies.
Total Drama Rama, but it's them when they're like babies.
Huh.
I never really watched it because it seemed really, really stupid. Like extra mega
mispronounced
dumb.
Amazing?
Yeah, you're right, I did. I never watched it though, so I can't speak to how amazing it is. I will say that they're in like a classroom and the chef guy from the original is the like babysitter or whatever.
Fair enough, okay. I've never actually seen the original one. I just like know of it.
It's fine. It's nothing... it's not like my favorite of anything. It's just chill. Well, here's fan art of Gwen and Trent, and she's like fucking breastfeeding their baby, so that's cool. There's a whole.
I think you and I have different definitions of the word cool.
Cool, yeah. I think my definition of the word cool is like in this scenario, a lie. It might be a lie. I don't think this is cool.
Oh, we are going back to lying. Dang it! Shoot, I wasn't ready.
Well, it's more facetious. I don't know if that super is the same as just straight up lying.
How dare you say that about my feet? What were you saying? What was the
facetious?
Oh. No, I didn't say anything weird in response to that.
Feet sushis?
Nope.
Feet.
Nope. No.
No feet. No trout. No feet.
No trout. No feet. No bitches.
No bitches. God damn it. I can't
That's how I live my life. No trout, no feet, no bitches.
In that order.
Yep.
It's all beef.
Well, I live in a landlocked state, so I really am not a fan of like fish here. Typically.
Like specifically just there, or just as a concept?
Like no, it just here because I know we're landlocked, so I don't like I don't trust fish being fresh.
Yeah.
So, but I have family who lives in like California, and so if we visit them, I'm happy to eat it out there because the fish is presumably fresher.
One would hope.
Yeah, and I've had fish I've really enjoyed out there. So, thus far, it's served me well. And maybe I've missed some like really amazing fish over here, but like I don't think Colorado's got the best fish. I'm not expecting a lot here.
Fair. I mean, it is also like in the mountain.
Mm-hmm. What mountain fish are there? Is it salmon? I guess salmon? Salmon
be in mountain like rivers.
Because like they do a thing where like they travel, right? Like they like go up and downstream. So like how far upstream they really going?
Far enough to fuck, I think. Their whole thing is they go.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, they go up the river to jizz 'em and egg 'em everywhere.
Mm.
And then baby happen, and then they get eaten by bears.
Ah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's how fish work.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not up to date on my fish lore, so I don't remember all this.
I mean, there's a lot of different fish, and I think they all have kind of like slightly different lore. But I know that salmon, they go up the river and then they just do salmon shit. Also, they're like very ugly. They get ugly when they have babies, and I think they just die afterwards.
Whoa. Okay. Huh. That's a lot of animals are like that though, where they're just like, cool, I made a baby, bye, and just dead.
They're just like, well, it's been real.
Isn't that like what?
Time to die.
Or they're just like they kill each other after that, like with praying mantises.
Manter. She mantis. It's the goyle. She eat the head. She said, "Hump."
Yeah.
Also, if the spider,
she eat head well.
So head. Hump.
No head?
I mean, somebody's getting head in the situation.
Yeah.
It's the girl praying mantis. Hi, Skipper.
Yeah, normally at least from my logic, it's not normally the girl getting head, at least from my personal experience, but
well, she
pop
did.
Off, I guess.
Am I wrong? Are you going to say
no, you're
tell
not.
Me that I'm wrong?
No. I'm saying that in my personal experience, it doesn't happen that way, but I think it makes sense here. It's just
but we're talking about praying mantises.
Yes, but I was making a correlation to humans.
Okay, but like, that's not a praying mantis. That's a human.
So, okay, sorry, my microphone was muted. So I said I was making a correlation to humans, which are not praying mantises.
Yeah. See, that's where
it was referencing another thing.
No,
so it's like when I talked about Total Drama Island, you didn't think I was talking about Survivor because it was a different subject.
Yeah.
I feel like we've really come to a very good understanding here.
I think so. Yes, Total Drama Island, not Survivor. Human,
exactly.
Not praying mantis.
Amen.
I hope we've all learned something today. Good morning.
I have terminal brain rot. It's a problem.
I understand. I feel that. I don't even. Yeah. My brain has not worked all day.
Oh, when was it working? Because I'd like to know what that was like.
It was doing pretty good yesterday. It was like productive. It was pretty interesting. I got like at least 3 things done.
Wow, that's fun.
It's like more than 0, which is the usual amount.
Yeah, more than 0, I think, is definitively just an upgrade.
Yeah. And it was like 3 more than 0, which is like pretty big compared to 0.
Yeah, that's 1 million times 0 doesn't even equal that much.
No, because 1 million times 0 is 0. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's pretty crazy.
Is this the bit where like Peter Griffin explains the joke?
No.
Right? That show's animated.
That show is animated.
Right? Because I'm here to talk about animation, not sushi and Survivor and Praying Mantis.
We were talking about Total Drama Island.
At one point we were, maybe.
Okay, listen. What's your favorite animation?
Anyway, this isn't going to be... So I thought about a lot of this stuff, and I knew it wasn't going to be probably what you had in mind.
That's okay.
Because with animation, right, you've got 2 different types where you have the actual, like... You have the... Like, there's... For one, there's, like, the 3D animation stuff, and then you also have people who are, like, doing 2D animation and, like, actual, like, drawings and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about the 3D animation stuff, and I realized that's also what like a lot of movies do with just like live action stuff nowadays, quote unquote.
Yeah, with like CG or like
with like CGI, because it's computer generated image, either animating something in that way. So I went to that place and I was like, oh God, and I kept trying to go away from there, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to, and I started freaking out.
Oh no, you can, whatever counts, because like Alfie came on here and I was like, what is your favorite animation? And she...
Oh, Alfie's been on this? I gotta go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you guys couldn't be
No. Yeah. No. I didn't want to step down to their level.
Oh, okay. Well, don't say Miku Hatsune then, because that's what they said their favorite animation was.
That's the thing from Fortnite.
Yeah, it is.
Did you die as I said that?
No, I said it is.
You sounded sad when you said it. Like, yeah,
it is. No, I'm not sad. It's just like I actually am just always.
That's the least convincing. No, I'm not sad.
I'm not. No, it's Fortnite it's fine. I am always supremely impressed at how many things can lead back to Fortnite. Like, unironically, I'm just like, that's crazy. Because you could be like, oh yeah, like Marvel, Rick and Morty, Family Guy, like pop star Sabrina Carpenter, Miku Hatsune, fucking Ariana Grande.
Oh, Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla. Birdie
What's your Fortnite skin
lettuce.
of choice?
I don't play Fortnite, but I would probably be Miku.
Okay, makes sense.
Your favorite animation is Minecraft? So that's like a very... If you say your favorite animation is Minecraft, you're gonna have to specify. There's a movie, people do like fan animations, there's animation like within the game itself. Like, Minecraft is a very broad animation type at this point in its life.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd say, what is it, for what's worth, I think mine would be, because again, you mentioned Marvel stuff, but I really liked, if you ever saw it, the Doctor Strange movie.
The Sam Raimi one or the first one?
The first one.
I like the first one. They did a lot of cool stuff with like the MC Escher or like Kaleidoscope type shit.
Exactly, yeah. I remember I saw that in theaters and I was just like, this looks awesome. And it was just like, I also feel like it was, especially for the time, I thought it was pretty good. And it was the first time I'd seen something like that. And I don't know, it felt entirely different. Didn't feel like extremely low effects in comparison to other things. Didn't feel like, I love the movie, but didn't give me Shark Boy Lava Girl stuff.
Right. It wasn't campy,
like,
and it just felt like there was such gravity to it. Like, dear God, like this is a giant, like crazy mind-bending thing.
Yeah, because like later on, there's a whole thing where it's like, you know, a giant CGI like monster or whatever, because, you know, Marvel and whatever got to do that fun stuff.
Dormammu.
Yeah, Dormammu. But then, at least in that part, it was like, it just actually was just the world. It just looked all screwy. I thought that was awesome.
It is cool. I do like it. I think I really liked the Doctor Strange movie. I feel like it was one of the more like took itself seriously Marvel properties. Because I feel like at some point they kind of just become, they have like a style of like kind of undercutting their own messaging because they want it to be like sarcastic and silly. And I'm not.
Yeah, there's definitely a weird line that they definitely break there, I think.
Yeah, I think that obviously like Doctor Strange does have like some sass to him, but it's a drier kind of sense of it. It doesn't feel like everyone kind of feels like they're trying to do Spider-Man, right? Like they're always got like one-liners and quips. And obviously I'm like generalizing a lot of Marvel movies.
To be fair,
that's not true.
Tom Holland's pretty awesome. I
do like Spider-Man.
I would do Spider-Man if that's on the table. I don't just, you know.
I like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I get it. Spider-Man's popular. But I also feel like a lot of the Marvel movies, and again, this is a total generalization. This is not always true. But
say it. Say it's always true. Just say it's always true.
It's not.
No, but just say it is. But just say it is.
It's definitely always true. I'm brave and I'm controversial.
Wow, I can't believe you would say that. That's so weird. That's so weird of you to say that. That's definitely not always true.
I'm a hater.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I'm a D1 Marvel hater.
Day one Marvel hater. Always have been, always will be.
Always have been. Popped out the pussy, hating Marvel.
Dude, popping that pee, hating Marvel.
Yeah. I'm the only one who's ever done that.
Popped out the pussy or hated Marvel?
Both. I also didn't pop out the pussy. That's a lie. I am notoriously a C-section, but...
That's such a... What do you mean notorious? Notoriously a C...
Notoriously a C-section.
I didn't know this lore, but that's like...
Yeah, because I was extracted.
It's extract.
They had to extract me. Like a tumor or a parasite. They had to cut my mommy open, and I had to be like the little alien baby that goes like a chest burster. That
Notoriously a C-section is a sentence.
Notoriously. It's the assigned Marvel hater at birth. That's me.
That's literally me, I swear.
I'm a mahabe.
Well, never mind. The bit was funny. Yeah, the bit actually just got ruined.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry about that. Forgot to tell you.
Damn, I should have shut my mouth.
I've been told that very often.
I need to stop. I need to be put down.
It's very funny.
Just sitting here making noises, incomprehensible. But
you know, what did your client do? They just kept yapping. We tried to shut him up.
They wouldn't.
Instant death.
Like,
that's it.
The gun sound in the background. Just look at the flowers.
Exactly. I was okay. So can I air grievances?
If you'd like.
I was told when we were talking there was going to be a cute little thing of me, and I just opened your stream.
What?
Very cuteless thing of me-ness.
What are you talking about?
Like the thing with like the I thought it was gonna be like the way I like looked when I talked.
No, it's for the thumbnail.
Got it. Okay.
if you'd like, I can send you a link real quick. If you would like to be your little thing, you can change your Fuji tech.
Please, first of all, don't cast your Harry Potter at me. I prefer not to have myself casted upon.
Okay,
I know they've recasted Harry Potter, right? They just recast all of them, I think.
Didn't that just happen? That's true. I did hear that they're like redoing the movie. Or not the movie. Yeah, they're making a show, but it's just with the books. So they're kind of like doing a full whatever the word is. They're just read something-ing. They're making a new one, but it's just the old shit with new people. Basically, yeah. Reboot.
Dude, can you believe that Hollywood would do a reboot? Never.
In this economy?
I was shocked.
It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Oh, there's like 19 different things. I've given up on it. I saw it. I clicked this link and I've seen it, and there's like 15 different buttons.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's future me problems.
Yeah, you don't have to bother with this stuff.
I'm just no. I want to get very clear. I easily could. I'm just really lazy.
No, that's totally fine. I'm also lazy.
Being lazy is goated.
Goated with the sauce. Being lazy. That's why.
Canonic.
That's why you are just your little Discord profile picture and not a little fella.
Exactly.
John Lithgow is gonna be Dumbledore. Ain't that fucking Lord Farquaad?
Is that Lord Farquaad? Does John Lithgow do the voice of Lord Farquaad? I know him from like How I Met Your Mother. Like apparently he was like a bad guy in Dexter. I've seen him in a bunch of other shows. Like I like the actor. I think he's pretty sick.
You're just amazed that my only information about John Lithgow is that he is Lord Farquaad in Shrek.
I mean, honestly, again, the whole subject was going to be, animated stuff. So you give me some animated information, and you know what? It makes sense.
Yeah, you probably don't know this about me, but I am far more likely to watch something that is a cartoon than I am if it is live action. And at a certain point in my life, I refused to watch anything that wasn't a cartoon. And when I say a certain point, I mean like my teen years. So
I thought you meant like last week.
No, I'm definitely more open to watching live action in my later age of now. Like, I will go to the movies now and watch human beings on a big screen, and they walk around and talk and stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I know.
Do you enjoy that?
It depends on what it is, but I watched Sinners, and I thought Sinners was really good. And I haven't
seen that one, but I've heard good stuff about it.
I've been hosting movie nights where real people are in the movies that I haven't seen. So I have been I just recently watched like John Carpenter's The Thing. I'd never seen it. And I watched The Color Purple, and I'd never seen it. There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen because there are real people in it.
Yeah, it makes sense. People suck.
Real genuine humans.
Exactly. Sound like you're selling, what is it? Sound like you're like a farmer selling. Real genuine humans.
I'm selling in Deliverance, yeah. I imagine that's kind of what they did. I've never seen Deliverance. I only know that there was a banjo scene.
What happened with the banjo?
They played it, I think.
Oh, okay.
There was like
the way you said banjo scene made me like more scared of the banjo, I think, than I probably needed to be. Like, there was a banjo
I think
scene.
The banjo is the least upsetting part of the Deliverance. I've never seen Deliverance, but I've heard it's like a horror movie, and it's in the South, and I know that they say the word, "Get on up that hill, boy," and there's a banjo scene. And the banjo scene is just like a duel. They just like have a banjo off. And I guess they commit crimes against the Geneva Convention. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think you need to watch the movie. I think you fully understand it. It sounds like.
Have you seen it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I need to. I've had the whole story explained to me, I think. So I think we're good.
I don't know.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Nope, I think you're perfect. It's great. You got it. You're done.
Okay.
I mean, what more could you need from it? You already know there's a banjo scene in it, right? So you basically won.
I think so. Because I'm pretty sure it's got Burt Reynolds in it. Like, how clothed is he? I would imagine pretty wearing clothes. The only information I know about Burt Reynolds is that he has that picture where he's just naked with his mustache.
What?
What?
No, I don't know who Burt Reynolds is. I don't even know about this picture.
It's the only thing I know about Burt Reynolds is that he has a picture where he's naked.
I thought Burt Reynolds was I thought for some reason it was like a fake character made in Simpsons by Bart. Like Bart made a character called Burt.
I think Burt Reynolds is a real person.
Have you ever seen Burt Reynolds?
No, not in real life, but I've seen the picture of him.
So you have no proof?
I don't. I've only seen the picture of him where he's on the bear rug. Here, I'll send it to you. You can't see Wiener, so I hope that's okay. I know it's probably disappointing.
I mean, it always is, but what is it? I'm used to disappointments in the Wiener department.
Oh, no.
Okay, makes sense.
Well-known role is he's Bandit in Smokey and the Bandit. I have some horrible news for you. I've never heard of that. So if that's his best known role, my only knowledge of him is this picture. That's literally it.
Yeah, that's probably fair, unfortunately.
Yeah. He's got like a mustache. I think he was known for his like mustache. That was
the only part I think thus far I've been like, oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Burt Reynolds mustache.
Yeah. It sounds like a joke, but I really wish it wasn't. Or
No,
I wish it was
real.
a joke, but it's really not. Yeah.
Oh.
Hashtag too real.
Too real. How do you know Burt Reynolds? Isn't he the mustache?
Right? Wasn't he that guy with the mustache back in the day? You know?
The only man in the 70s with a mustache, notoriously.
Yeah. Next to the notorious B.I.G., obviously.
Notorious, was he real big in the 70s? Notorious B.I.G.?
I don't know.
Okay.
I actually have no idea when the B.I.G. was notoriously big. I was just hoping it was around then so I could say it.
And he might have been. I know for sure the 90s, right? I'm not getting back up on this.
I have no idea, honestly.
That's okay. But you say that the animated sequences in Doctor Strange are your favorite.
Oh yes, back to the conversation. Yeah. Yes.
Somehow,
what is it?
We got to Burt Reynolds. Not sure.
Somehow, Doctor Strange leads to Burt Reynolds.
If you want to know how, rewind.
Yes, I think so. Just because I thought the animation was really good. The problem is with a lot of the animated stuff that I currently watch, like I don't think any of it is very well animated technically. Like it's just it's one where it's like I'm watching it because I really enjoy the plot much more so than I think it's well animated.
I think that's also fine because like when I said animation, I just used it as like a general catch-all term for like movie, show, video, stuff like that. A lot of people did come to me and be like, oh, like technically or like visually, I think this animation's really good. But I'm like, I was basically like in my mind, I was just basically asking you like what your favorite show is, like what is your favorite cartoon? But
okay, that's fair.
Animation is so encompassing. I was like, let's keep it kind of vague. And then I get like the sequences from Doctor Strange, which is a really good answer because a lot of people don't really think about that aspect of animation because that's 100% animated. Like that is an animation and that is a very cool one. I stand by that one legitimately as a very cool piece of animation. It's again just not probably thought of as the most animation, but it is. Yeah, I just think it's awesome. It is. I like that answer. Like, that's why I kept it vague, because I was like, I want to see what people say.
I also got, I may or may not have like freaked out for a little bit and been like, what is technically an animation?
Literally, whatever. But I'm sorry it made you freak out. You could have just asked. I would have totally
that would have required me asking questions.
You're right. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Just go in full hog and pretend you know what's going on.
Exactly. Yep, that's my motto in life.
That does seem very your style.
Go in full hog, exactly.
Full hog. Not half hog in it.
They don't call me the half hogger.
I don't know that they call you the full hogger. I don't think anyone calls you that.
They just go to a different school.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely know people I don't know, but anyone that I've talked to that talks about you does not call you the full hogger.
What do they say about me? It's probably something about how awesome I am. Do they say I pull off the mustache? I've been trying to grow one recently.
I haven't seen your mustache.
I've been on it for a couple weeks.
So I don't know.
I've been on it for a couple weeks. I don't have a good image of it. Do I?
Okay, I don't know.
think I do.
But I know that Alfie said that you give off the energy of an old school news broadcaster. So I think they said that to your face. So if that's any consolation, well, as to your face as is possible.
Yeah,
your
that's
virtual
fair.
memes.
Here, this is a picture I took soon after trying to do it.
You look like you're gonna arrest me.
I do have a pair of aviators that I have been wearing recently.
You do? It's giving pilot. I would say you're pulling it off.
That's fair. I actually, my sister is a pilot. My little brother has just graduated high school, and he's gonna train to be a pilot.
Oh, so you have pilots in your genetics.
Apparently, but they're all at the same level of my genetic. Like, it's nothing.
Well, yeah, but it had to come from somewhere, surely.
You got me there, yeah.
If like you and all your siblings were gay, you'd be like, where is this coming from? Probably it's coming from somewhere. Probably.
You know what? You're correct. That seems to be some fair logic.
Yeah. So maybe there's just, you guys need to be up in the air. You need to fly. You're birds.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't argue with it. I've never seen a bird in the same room as me, so.
Yeah. And why would you?
Got me there.
Because do you have a mirror?
I do. I just don't use it really. Honestly, so when I shaved my mustache, or shaved to like get the mustache, I wanted to know how I was gonna look. And what I decided to do was I immediately just started streaming because I have a little image of me that I will look at while I stream.
Yeah.
And so I just use that instead of, an actual mirror, because then I went to the bathroom just like a couple times to go change stuff around as I needed to.
I see. So instead of using a mirror, which would give you like one-to-one direct knowledge of what you look like, you went on stream to see your mustache.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to see it like moving I want to see it talking. I didn't feel like just standing in a mirror talking for a while to try to understand how much I liked it or didn't like it.
That's fair. You know what?
It sounds weird, but I stand by it.
I think that's correct, because it's like if I see myself in like mirror and I'm like, okay, like this is what I look like, and that's fine. And then like sometimes I'll see myself in pictures and I'm like, oh lord, what is that? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, but if you see the like video, you're like, oh okay, that's probably like a more accurate representation of me, just like candid with a mustache.
Yeah. I think candid would be. I think that's what I wanted to get there, and I think I did it. I think I'm pretty happy with it still. I've been told that pretty much by the majority of people who I know that they still don't like it that much. However, my wife still likes it, and so therefore she wins. It doesn't really matter what else happens.
I think it works. I think that people who just know you are like used to like certain thing.
That's entirely fair and probably based.
Yeah. Plus, the only people who really need to like it are you and your wife. So everyone else can kind of suck shit.
Exactly. I kind of just have been like, I just don't care. I don't really have a preference one way or another on it. Where I don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Unless you're on stream, I guess.
Yeah. Which then I'm like, you know what? I don't mind looking at it. So then I don't care.
There you go. That's all that really matters.
Exactly. It's easy. It's easy. Just to get that style of logic. I will say, though, legitimately, in terms of like other animation, though, that I do enjoy, or just other animated projects, I really like stuff like, for example, just Phineas and Ferb is a show that I will forever enjoy and really do like to watch.
Do you rewatch it?
Because my wife and I, we will rewatch it, and there's they're continuing it in literally like a week.
Oh, are you excited for that? I did hear that they're doing I didn't know what the deal was, but I was in the grapevine hearing of some kind of Phineas and Ferb news. I didn't know what it was about.
I think it just basically means that Phineas and Ferb is like, they're basically just going to continue doing stuff with the show. They're trying to say that it's not like a revival or whatever. It's literally like they're saying the show ended here and we're just going to pick right up and just try to keep the exact same style.
Nice.
And I saw people, I actually, I thought about this because when I read that, I saw a lot of people online being like, well, this is like, it just looks the exact same, potentially worse as before. And people were expecting like better or whatever from it. I even remember there's like there's like a Twitter thing about it.
Oh, if you have easier access to it, go ahead and instant. But I am looking.
But I don't like anything on Twitter. I don't like anything ever. So like, I didn't see it.
I see.
To find this.
It was just like.
It was something that was.
It just passed by.
Exactly, just passed.
I don't know enough about Phineas and Ferb. These pictures that I'm looking at look pretty much the same as what I knew it as, but I'm not super familiar with it. Maybe the line work is a little darker? I don't know.
So one of the things apparently that changed as throughout it is it's apparently reducing or like they've reduced the size of the lines as the show went on. Apparently, I don't know how that works.
Just made them thinner, I guess.
Yeah, thinner is the biggest thing I remember. And then that was like they were trying to fix that bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks, if this is the new thing, it looks pretty much the same. I'm not seeing it in motion though, so I don't know if like the animation. Okay,
here I actually found the thing. I found like a whole thing, like a Twitter link you can even probably show here, because it was like this was like they did like an animation breakdown thing here. So I'll like
holy shit.
You if you wanted to, you could even show like I think this should be okay to show on your stuff, assuming you don't get weird ads. Like it should. This is like a full art animation breakdown thing that I thought might be interesting for you.
Okay. Yeah. Been seeing people say Phineas and Ferb look the same since the Revivals teaser, but I want to make a fun little artistic thread debunking this mindset.
I think it's yeah, they literally go through and talk through like different animations and such, and like how it's gotten better / worse and the highs and lows, and then comparing it to what it looked like in this like revival thing or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only seeing stuff from like the past one.
I don't know the correct way to show it, so I'm not going to.
I'm looking. The pose feels.
Oh yeah, they get to the end, like the last couple bits, because they were just basically saying that I think they were comparing the previous seasons at first. Was the logic there.
They're saying that the new stuff looks a bit more stiff. I can see what they're getting at. It looks about... I guess it depends, because I feel like some of like the Doofenshmirtz animation looks nice. This like Candace thing looks nice, and then there's also like the one with the Candace and the mom talking did look pretty stiff. But I'm like, again, I'm not familiar enough with Phineas and Ferb, but they probably have some puppet animation, which people don't tend to like when it started off as like all hand drawn.
So what does that mean, puppet animation in particular? Like, what does that mean for the show?
So puppet animation means they take a model. So like VTubers would be like really advanced puppet animation.
Okay.
But if you are looking on stream, I can kind of give a little example. So you see, this is like hand drawn, what I have like here.
Sure.
And then if I were to make a puppet, what I would be doing is like kind of just like drawing a character, and instead of going through a different drawing and like moving the legs or whatever, I would be taking the part and kind of moving it on a pivot to do something like that.
Huh. Interesting.
So that's puppet animation, and that's like a really rudimentary version of it. There's like, you look at VTuber models, and there's like tons of like really good puppeted animation. But the easiest way to kind of describe it is like if you've seen like Archer uses
I know that show. I haven't seen it myself, but I know I get that a lot.
But you've seen like the style of it, right?
Yeah.
It's very much just like they're kind of like moving PNGs around, right?
Got it. It's like a lot of like the stretching thing, right? A bit, I think. Because I've done stuff in like Photoshop or whatever, but like, so is that kind of where that bit, like they make one section, they just kind of like stretch the pixels as they need to there?
So they would, it's a little more complicated than just kind of like stretching things around, but yeah.
Like yes, but no, basically here.
Yes, but no. Like if, like they would do something if they needed to, they would just like do like something like this and then like this to kind of simulate a squash and stretch if they needed to. They usually won't do that because it's like really obvious, but there's nothing wrong with puppet animation. It's just like it gets a lot of flack because it is cheaper to do, and a lot of studios use it to save budget.
Sure.
Yeah, but it also can result in a lot stiffer movement. Like this little hair flip that goes up, that wouldn't really be a thing I could do with
puppet animation.
In puppet animation, what I could potentially do is like you said with Photoshop, is like take the drawing and kind of like wiggle it around to do like a hair movement.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So people don't tend to like puppeted animation because it is a bit limited and it is to save money. But in that regard, it can come across more stiff and a little lifeless, like less dynamic than people would like. But unfortunately, it's sometimes a necessity to save money and such. But
that makes sense. For what's worth, I'm not a good critic of animation stuff. Like I can notice some stuff because one of the other like shows that I'll enjoy as of recently has been the Invincible show.
I love Invincible.
And I think that show gets a lot of flack, I think, for the animation from what I've heard. Because it's like a lot of scenes feel like it is just they even made a reference to, I think, in like one episode where they just talk about the cut.
That.
Yeah, that's fair, right? So they talked about Like they will do zoomed in shots or whatever, or shots where you don't show people's heads or whatever, just to save money on, people talking or whatever, or trying to do specific things.
Yeah.
And they do. It feels like they do them decently often.
Yeah, and here's the thing is like, I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think I am just an animation enjoyer. So even if like I see something where I'm like, okay, they very obviously just took, image A and then like just slid it and then made it smaller to make it look like it's going toward Earth or whatever. I don't think that's a bad thing. However, people on the internet are like, unreasonable assholes. And I'm like,
no, the internet? No.
I know. No. I'm crazy.
That can't be it.
Yeah, I see, because I see what people mean, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I see where you're getting at, where you're like, okay, like, clearly they are reusing this background a lot, or clearly they are doing this, that, and the other. But I will say that I was told as of recently that Invincible actually does not use puppeted animation.
That makes sense, but then that probably is part of the reason why it honestly feels potentially worse at times then, right?
Yeah, because a lot of the scenes could probably benefit from like puppeted animation, because it's like they're not moving a lot anyway, and half the time they're just kind of like flapping their gums, and then they have like 2 frames. And they go off model sometimes, and people are like, oh, why did it do that? And I'm like, well, that they probably wouldn't have if it was puppeted animation. But also, it's like, they also wouldn't be able to do a lot of like the cool fight scenes if all of the animation was puppeted. But they can, as an animation studio, use puppeted animation here and there if they need it. The only problem with that is they would have to use that same puppet, basically, for different things. And because Invincible is kind of like pretty specific about what the characters are doing in that moment, I don't know if it would be worthwhile to make a puppet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like Rick and Morty has puppeted animation.
Yeah, that makes that's another show that I also do enjoy. What is it? Oh, what's the thing I can say? Like, you have to have a really high IQ to understand.
Yeah.
What's the meme there? Imagine I insert meme when I say that I enjoy Rick and Morty.
Because you're really smart and have high IQ.
Yeah, exactly. All the reasons that you say, I'm too big brained to say them. That's
true.
The reason.
You're like, you don't even need to, because it's implied, because you watch Rick and Morty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that logic. Definitely not. I love sci-fi stuff. I don't care.
No, Rick and Morty's good. I'm not going to sit here and like bust your balls over liking Rick and Morty. I know that like it gets a lot of flack because people are like annoying, but
yeah, because assholes exist.
Assholes exist and are annoying, and they like to think that because they like a thing, it makes them better than everybody else. But it's like it's just a cartoon about an alcoholic dickhead. So
exactly, yeah. No, and see, I'm actually better than everyone because I hate things.
Oh, true.
Which other people like. Exactly.
And you're a hipster.
Exactly. That's why I have a mustache.
Oh, that is true. You are becoming ever so closer to just. Do you have a beanie? You're gonna get some plaid?
I do have a beanie. I have like 2 beanies because I've got a fat head.
Oh, do you have to like tape them together so they can fit over your head? Is that?
No, I just have to. There's like one brand that I found that like had like this large beanie enough that I didn't feel like my head couldn't. Like I felt like my brain was being squeezed otherwise.
Oh, I see. I thought you were saying that like you had the 2 beanies because your head was so big that one beanie would not fit. So you had to like cut them in half.
I could have been that funny and say that, but instead I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Confirmed on fun.
It happens to the best of us. I gotta go get a water. I thought my water was already in here, and it's not. But it's probably just
which water
sitting...
do you prefer?
Tap. In my cup.
Wait, what? Oh, in your cup.
Tap water from sink in Brita filtered to cup.
Dang, okay, calm down. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't trust the water here because it is hard water and it leaves like crust around the like sink faucet head thing and also in my shower. And I have to like remove the crust. So I'm like, I don't feel like I should be inviting the crust into my mouth. So I put it in the Brita filter.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the logic.
It should take like...
Go do so. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. I was lied to. Gosh. Can't believe I've been lied to. It's like 7 seconds now, and it was going to be 2 at one point. Wow. This isn't looking good. Can't believe Tara's such a liar.
I heard you. I heard you counting.
They. Sorry, I was about to insult you, and then I realized I wanted to make sure I used your correct pronouns. Anyway, yeah, they suck.
I'll say calcium and sodium. It's not unhealthy. I don't want the crust.
Calcium, that's in salt, and salt isn't healthy, so checkmate, atheists.
I will eat salt by itself before I will drink the by itself tap water of Missouri.
Of misery. Confirmed depression.
Confirmed depression.
I want a brand of espresso just called Depresso.
I feel like that exists, does it not?
I feel like it should if it doesn't.
That does sound like it would. Although I don't know how I don't know how profitable that would be to call your thing Depresso. Like you have a very specific market.
I think it really could be potentially, but you have to make sure you sell it in the right way. Like depressed, drink coffee.
That's what they recommend when you're depressed to drink coffee.
Is that what it is? I thought it was just to, be happy.
They do that too. They're like, you're sad?
Yeah.
Just don't. Have you considered not?
Have you considered just not? I love it. Because my wife can deal with that stuff, and I just deal with ADHD, and so there will be times where we just straight up just do not understand each other, and we're like, yeah, just like be happy, just like focus. It's easy, 5-head.
Just focus.
Yeah, it's great. Just like, have you considered just like paying attention? It's easy. I don't know why I didn't consider that.
What's the problem? Just pay attention. Yeah. Quit going off on tangents. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And then I tell her, like, why aren't you just like happy?
And she's like, I'm gonna kill you for real.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy as that way. Oh, it's so much fun.
Goodness. Drink coffee help? Drink coffee do not help. Drink coffee pretty much always bad.
I think it's amazing. I don't know what could ever be wrong with it.
It just makes you, in the long run, feel like shitty shit. That's my only issue. Yes. I don't care if people drink coffee. For me personally, I'm just like, I got anxiety, brother. I ain't trying to fuck that up.
I just go for, I do it because especially if I don't have Adderall. That's just mini Adderall.
That's what I've heard that it's good for that, but also like, I don't know. I feel like it's still not great.
It probably isn't, but I
guess if you're short on Adderall, it'll work in a pinch.
Yeah, that's kind of my logic, at least.
That it works.
Short on Adderall, it literally just works in a pinch.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's like a good slogan for coffee. It works in a pinch. If you need to be awake for a long time, it works. If you don't have Adderall, it works.
You'll be fine. Just, that's the specifics.
Yeah. It's not like great, but it works in a pinch.
Exactly.
I don't like
I love it how
either.
the companies say that. They just say it works. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine.
I mean, yeah.
Just
Nobody's like, I feel like people who drink coffee are not like, this is a good healthy thing.
Yeah. 100%. I don't believe any of them do.
I don't think everyone's like, I'm just addicted. I'm just like, well.
Yeah. Listen, am I doing the right thing here? Probably not, but I really want I want that caffeine,
But I need it. I'm like, fair enough.
Your Honor, I need it.
Your Honor? Pardon? I need it? I'm dying? I'm dead, and I'm dying?
I've been saying Your Honor way too much. Been my bit.
My
not
bit
a good one,
is
but it
that
has
I'm
been
a lawyer. Or no, not even a lawyer. It's like, because you don't necessarily have to be a lawyer. You're just in court.
My bit is just that I'm consistently in court.
You are. You're in the court of public opinion.
Exactly.
Because you're on the internet.
That is just basically the whole internet. Yeah. All of the internet is just the court of public opinion.
True. So it's been an hour and like 13 minutes.
Perfect.
We've gone through one question.
Oh, yeah. Questions were things. Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I'll ask you another question if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
If you consent to being asked a question.
Are we supposed to be asking more things?
There's only 4 questions. We don't have to necessarily get through them, but I think it's interesting. I would like to hear your answer to some of these.
That's fair.
And you said you thought about him. Only
Yep,
one
I have to just remember the answers that I said.
That you said. You haven't said them yet.
Or what is it? That I thought I would say.
Okay, that you planned on saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, what is something animated that you've watched recently that you really liked?
Did I write this down? Some of these questions I even wrote down answers to because I'm like, I think I'm gonna forget it. I think this was one of them where I was like, I have an answer and I know what it's gonna be.
And you don't remember?
Oh God, I didn't write it. I didn't write the answer down.
Can you don't know what you watched?
No, because
or you don't remember what it was called?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
No. I'm trying to. I'm looking at my recently watched on Disney Plus. Hold up. I feel like it was here. Because I remember this whole thing. I went through all of this and I was like, there was something I really enjoyed and I had a fun time with, and I was like, oh, this is something I can I'll mention this in particular. Oh yeah, it was the amazing the Spider-Man TV show, the new one, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man one.
Oh, I don't know that I know it existed. It's called Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and
it's on Disney Plus.
I don't have Disney Plus. Oh, this is fun. It's like taking inspiration from the old comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a similar style to Moon Girl.
I never watched that one, but I think I think it's accurate. I think it's an accurate description.
Yeah, it's got very thick graphic lines and very just flat colors to it. That's very cool. I do like that.
Yeah, that was one that I remember actually. It is. So it's definitely it's 2D animation, but also they've done some scenes where they definitely they turn the things and make them 3D.
Okay.
You can tell.
Gotcha.
So
some of these scenes look a little CG, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just assessing.
Yeah, no. I think they did what they tried to do. I think they tried to do both, if I'm not mistaken. Kinda.
Yeah, it looks
or
like
it feels
when he's Spider-Man, because there's scenes of like human like Peter Parker, and those look very clearly 2D. It looks like some of the Spider-Man angles are probably 3D, and that's probably so they can get some of these like cool action shots without
I think so.
killing themselves. The perspective.
Yeah. I think those are the ones that I remember in particular where it's like, yeah, they definitely changed the angle there just for that bit.
Yeah, like these backgrounds and everything look very, very 3D. But maybe they're just really good at backgrounds. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm literally, I just Google it and I'm like, is this what it is? I don't know. Because I'm not actually seeing it in motion.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot of that stuff there. Where they use both parts. They will do the 3D, but they also use both. They try to make both, I think, like work together. And I think definitely sometimes it does succeed. Other times maybe not as much, but I definitely think they make that effort. I think that's cool.
I like the stylized nature of it.
Yeah, I had to look it up to remember this one because I definitely was like, oh, I thought this was interesting and it would be fun for at least, especially on an animation subject. And then I forgot what the name of it was.
Oh no!
Because I'm skilled.
It made such a big impact.
Yeah, well, I suck at remembering names.
It's okay.
Yes. Thank God Discord gives me everyone's usernames every single time I see them in a call.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't even remember, like, usernames. Be doomed. I don't know. I can barely remember real life names.
Internet strangers be damned. I don't know your ass. Ooh.
Exactly.
Somebody has introduced to me to one of their childhood movies called La Leyenda de la Llorona, which I have never heard of. And I don't know where it's from. I don't know if they have like, oh, it's on Netflix. Interesting. But I'm glad that you remembered a childhood movie. The only Spider-Man show you fully watched is Spectacular Spider-Man. It was great, but unfortunately it got canceled. That's a sad day.
Oh yeah, that one definitely got canceled. They canceled that one because they were doing a Disney Spider-Man show called Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate. That's such an unfortunate reason for something to get canceled because someone else got the rights to it or something.
Mm-hmm. And I will. So I watched that show as well. I also watched both of them. I will give the potential wrong take that I'm actually. I am glad. I'm in a weird place where I actually really like it when shows get canceled before they hit like any sort of prime or like they fall off, because then it's just only good of the show. And then the shows, because then when they start sucking, that I feel like sometimes is worse, because then I'm like, well, like it used to be good, but then I have to be like, yeah, if I ever want to watch this in the future, I'm gonna be like, well, it's gonna suck when I get to this point. But no, it's just like, it sucks that you don't get to finish the story, but at the same time, what we had, still pretty cool.
Right. Where I'm like from, in my mind, where I'm coming from, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yep, yeah, I got you.
Is I want animators to be able to finish their story. I feel like it's harder with like comic book inspiration type stuff, because comic books just go on and on and on and on and have so many different iterations that it's kind of like hard to give things that are based in like comic book universes a definitive like ending. So I'm like, I don't know, at any point that a comic book property ends is probably like fine. I do like, from the point of view of like the showrunners, like wish that a lot of times they just kind of
telling the story at least.
Yeah. A lot of times they just get the rug pulled out from under them and they never get to like actually make a conclusion. They just are like, you're done. And like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That definitely sucks.
Yeah, that sucks, but I do see where you're like. I also feel like sometimes shows go on for too long, and I'm like you said, I'm just like it didn't need all that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times,
like,
it just starts rehashing the same shit.
I think I'm like going back to the stuff where I said earlier about like with Phineas and Ferb, kind of expecting for that show to be like, yeah, maybe it probably doesn't need more episodes. And they literally said like because especially at the end of the show, you noticed it if you ever watched it. They were trying to figure out what they were going to do next, and they had like 4 or 5 different like basically mini pilots to see how they would do, and none of them performed well.
Damn.
And so eventually they just did a spin-off show entirely that was just basically used none of the same cast, but it was just in the same universe.
Was that the Murphy thing?
Yeah, Milo Murphy's Law.
I heard of it. I don't know much about it.
Honestly, me neither. I've seen, I have friends who watched it. It wasn't really my thing, but also like I didn't mind it.
Yeah, you're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Not as grabbing.
It just never personally grabbed my attention. Yeah.
I get you.
But it was, with this new version, I'm fully expecting it to be probably more of that stuff where it's like, yeah, you really didn't need this, but I mean, we have it now, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I get people like have the nostalgia factor, but if you don't really have more to do with these characters, just like let it be what it was. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think as long as it doesn't, I think disrespect the original is kind of where I'm going to be like, that's fine.
It's fine. It's not hurting anything. It's not really helping anything. It's not adding anything. It's just like, fine.
Yeah. I'm expecting maybe like a couple of maybe gems in there. And if there's anything like legitimately that I'm like, oh, this is enjoyable, I'll want to watch this again. I'll be happy about it. But I don't know if that's going to actually occur. And we'll have to kind of wait and see for that bit.
You're like, I'm going in with low expectations, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but I prefer going in, I think, with low expectations. I just think that if I go with low expectations, I'm just not disappointed as often, which is maybe that's I think a pessimistic look. But I think about that way, especially in terms of like movies and such that I want to watch, because if I go in with low expectations, then I don't have to expect the world out of it to enjoy it. And it makes it more enjoyable, I think, specifically in those moments.
No, I get that, because I'm like, I don't ever go into most things with any expectation. I'm just like, I'm always just like, this is going to be cool. Like, especially when I go to the movie theaters, a lot of times I'm like, oh, this is something interesting. But honestly, like, I'm not going to be too upset, even if it sucks. Like, if it's a shitty movie, like, I'm still going to the theater and gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna get popcorn. So, like, I'm getting popcorn. I'm gonna be happy.
Fair, honestly.
And then if I have a shitty movie, then at least I can be like, yeah, I watched this and it sucked.
Yeah. No, you get to know that it sucked at that point. It's like, okay, yeah, it sucked, but I now know it sucks. I don't have to just like live with everyone else telling me that it sucked.
Yeah, I can, and I can now bitch with other people who say that it sucks. I'm like, yeah, it did suck. I was there. Yeah. I saw it suck. I seen it sucking.
Yeah, exactly. I think the phrasing there, but it's fine.
There's some phrasing.
Have you ever watched the Mission Impossible movies? Because I recently watched those. Or the newest one.
I haven't seen any Mission Impossible.
That's fair. I haven't watched one of those in a while, but I enjoyed the most recent one for a particular reason, because it was strange from what I expected out of Hollywood, where it was just pretty much it was anti-AI, little CGI, which is like the opposite of what we're talking about right now. But it was like different in retrospect to a lot of the stuff that I think we normally see from movies as of late.
Like and I thought that was really cool. Practical effects and
right, like that's a big thing. If you don't watch a lot of movies, you maybe don't know it, but I'll say it. Like Tom Cruise is somewhat famous for he's a guy who does his own stunts.
I knew that about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know a lot, but I do know that Tom Cruise does his own stunts.
Mm-hmm. And so the movie, you actually see that happen. You see him doing his G-force, right? They do CGI to like remove whatever they need to for safety harnesses and make it look more epic.
Right.
But the actual stunt that he is doing has much less akin to almost no CGI.
Yeah. Which, yeah,
really
you're
cool.
right. Like, most Marvel movies are filmed in a blue screen. So, like,
yeah, exactly.
Having a actor do, like, stunts on, like, an actual set is so... Well, I don't know if he did it on set. I assume... Because you said most of it's, like, practical and, like...
Yeah, so I've seen some behind the scenes where it's, like, it's maybe not on a set, but, like, it'll be on a location, then they remove the, you know, like, the harnesses, or there's... what's the thing called? They removed a ramp that was actually like made to be the precise angle or whatever, and just made it look like it was generic, just ground that he did a jump off of or whatever.
I mean,
stuff like that, where it's like,
yeah,
yes, it's still CGI, but it doesn't. You don't feel like it takes away from anything, because then again, the biggest thing that got me was like, in comparison, I recently watched the new Captain America, which I think I really enjoyed. I had a blast with it, but there's definitely times where they may or may not be breaking G-force and they look fine. They're just chilling.
Yeah, and you're like, you would be dead, brother.
Yeah, I think I honestly didn't think that at first, but then I literally watched these and I'm like, oh, you see his effect. He's not even going as fast as they were claiming in that. And he's like, you see everything there a lot more so, and it felt more real because of that.
You know, you can see the skin, like...
You literally see his old cheeks ripple.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't think about stuff like that until you see it happening. And, like, people are very fleshy. People are very, like, Play-Doh-y in a way.
Based opinion. True.
Well, like, everything is so, like, polished in CG that it kind of takes that weirdness out of it. Like, if you see somebody's, like, I'm not a big fan of, like, MMA or boxing, because I think it's, like, you know, I don't like violence in a real sense.
Sure.
But if you see someone, like, get punched in the face, their face, like, straight up, like, contorts around a motherfucker's fist. And it's hard to think that's even, like, possible, because there's so much bone. But because your body is so trying to avoid, you know, the blast,
you know, just like not dying or whatever. Yeah.
Not dying. Yeah, it is more malleable than I think people give it credit for.
Yeah, honestly, you know, people pretty malleable.
Pretty malleable. Little Play-Doh monsters walking around all fleshy.
True, honestly.
Human beings.
Wow, how much like Play-Doh we are.
Yeah. Us and Gumby, not that different.
Exactly.
Two sides of the same coin.
I just think that's cool stuff.
I think it's cool too. And whenever, like, I've been talking about movies and stuff, and I know, like, there's a lot of things that people can do and then people cannot do, which is why animation is such, like, an amazing medium. But there's also things that people try to use animation for, and it becomes, like, uncanny, which is where you get things like Uncanny Valley, because a lot of that stuff people are completely underestimating, like, how expressive human beings are.
Yeah. Like,
how often do you think about how often you blink? It's a lot.
It is. There was this one thing. I think it was. So again, it's stretching your bounds of animation, but I'll do it anyway. It's I think it's Silence of the Lambs, which I've never watched it personally, honestly, because I suck at watching movies.
That's fair. I've seen Silence of the Lambs and I really liked it.
Okay, I'm hoping I'm remembering the movie correctly, because I'm saying it's Silence of the Lambs, so you can tell me if I'm incorrect. But one of the things, it's the killer. Why don't I remember his name?
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter, yeah. So Hannibal Lecter, one of the things that happens in the movie with him is that I don't believe you ever actually see him blink.
Oh.
And
well, that would make sense because
it's either that one or The Shining. I believe potentially both, but yeah.
It could be both. I've never heard that fact, but it makes sense because one of the weird things about like blinking, and I don't know if this is like a hard selling fact or if this is like one of those just like urban myths or whatever, but okay, again, don't know if this is true, but I kind of have accepted it in my heart as a fact.
Sure.
When you are talking to someone and you're like looking at them in real life, having a conversation, you maintain about 50 to 70% eye contact. Like when you're realistically talking to someone, your eyes wander a bit. You will like I look at their eyes. You might look at like their hands. You might look at something happening in the background. Like that is a very normal thing people do.
Yeah.
Like people's eyes flicker. So apparently lawyers and sociopaths maintain 90% eye contact.
Well, that you said the same group twice.
I did. But it would make sense that they also, like, if you're portraying like a serial killer, they might not blink as much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fun fact that may not even be a fact, but something I heard and accepted was real.
Yeah, no. Oh, so what? So that's actually two different things. Okay, I'm getting it confused. So that's truthful in Silence of the Lambs. He never blinks there.
Okay.
But one of the things that apparently Jack Nicholson does, which again is just like trying to be, you know, the human self being animated, and especially trying to be a freak there, is apparently, and as I'm reading this right now, he glances at the camera repeatedly.
Oh, to like stare at the audience almost.
Exactly, just like a little bit of that. Like he keeps like almost doing it. Like he just looks over for a moment and then for just a second and does that apparently a few times, which I think is also, I didn't know that. That's what it is.
I didn't know that either. That adds to the creepiness. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
a good amount of creep.
Just a good amount.
Yeah, but that's like you said earlier though. Again, as an aside, it's like yes, but people are extremely animated as well, and the way that we will show up, it's very difficult for human to try to recreate a human because you need it to look animated. You need people to look like real people. And that's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah. It's not the easiest thing to do, which is why it's way easier and why things that are like stylized tend to age better. And you think you maintain 30% eye contact because you're autistic and introverted? That might be true. I don't know, like that, like that's the extent of my eye contact knowledge is what I said, and also not sure that those are the correct numbers, but I know that the 90% one is the correct number for the lawyers and the freaks.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think I just saw this. So but it is really truthful there, at least for the for Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Lambs.
It's very for Silence of the Lambs. But it's also, I remember I saw this because there's this, again, just going into the different style of animation. Again, like the people trying to do live action stuff in the Avengers movies. Because again, talking Marvel stuff, because I'm a fan of that. When they made like Endgame and what's it called? Endgame and the other one.
Infinity
I really
War?
just have a bad memory. Like I enjoy these movies a lot. You think I don't, considering I don't remember any of their names, but I really do. I swear.
You enjoy them. I think there's just so many. There's so many titles of things and names that you remember moments more than like labels.
Yeah, I think so. But so they had multiple. They had multiple for one crews like making versions of Thanos that would work well, that would look like Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
And for two, they also had they would also set it up where one specific detail I remember reading about or hearing about was that they had to give him stubble.
Because character?
Thanos has stubble because without it, he gets that uncanny bit. And so in order to make him look like, so people don't just immediately write him off as like, oh, this just doesn't look like a real thing. They give him facial hair, like peach fuzz, not even peach fuzz. It's like the 9 o'clock shadow or whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
Like he has that, and you see that in like his close-up shots because he needs to look. They need the character to look real,
less pristine. The thing about making things look real is to grit them up. Like give them wrinkles, give them hair, give them like, pores, imperfections, and that's how you sell it, which makes a lot of sense that they gave him stubble because and you can even see like he has like on his hair, he like on not his hair, but he has like
on his head,
he has like where like a hair pattern there. So it is interesting when you look into like stuff like this, how much detail they go into to make a convincing, not even human, because he's not a human, but you still are like, this is a real thing. As a
human, you need to be able to make sense of it, and our brains do that by translating it to humanity.
Yeah, because that's something we see all the time.
Yeah, which is just like a very interesting dichotomy there. And they did things where like they had versions of him for when he was like far away to up close, because you can change those, like how animated he is, like that. The versions when he's super close up on his face, they don't waste the manpower on that when he's like, we were talking about the Invincible scenes when he's basically just doing that type of stuff.
Right, and that makes sense because number one, render power. Like if you've ever, you know how you play a game and you walk into an area and the scene has to like load? It's that same kind of thing. Like you don't need the thing that is like miles away in game to be completely loaded up. It can be just like a couple pixels because it's really far away, but once you get closer, then it starts getting more in focus. And it makes sense that they would do that for Thanos as well, because if he's way far back in a scene, you don't need to be seeing the stubble on his chin, and all it does is like waste manpower and waste rendering times and such for something that is ultimately like not really going to be seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello,
which is
Bill.
that's other little bits that I'm like, that's interesting stuff that I don't think, like, I didn't know about that, but that's the type of animation that I can definitely focus on a lot more, and I know more about because it's the type of animation that I personally consume more of anyway. So it's also goes into the proximity of what I personally enjoy, what I spend my time in. Yeah. And that type of stuff I definitely spend time in. And so I get to know this type of stuff, and I can break down these details at least.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people...
sort of like Ani-May-tion.
Ani-May-tion.
Whenever... Anyway. Yeah.
Thank you for the plug.
Yeah, of course. You say the name.
Name drop. So movies should act more like games? I don't think movies should act more like games. I think that they are
they do.
They're all integrated. Like, animation is animation, so they all follow a similar thought process. It's all like, when a game is doing that, like, do you really, like, it just doesn't make sense on a working pipeline to do that. Like, if I'm gonna draw a little character way back here, do I need to draw each individual little hair here? Do I need to do like this? You know, like that doesn't make any sense because you're not going to see any of that detail from back here.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm doing stuff on stream and it's kind of like on a delay, but
no, I got you. Yeah,
but
no, I understand that as well, because it also you talked about this earlier, right? Where like if they want to show a character and then they zoom them out or whatever, then it's like but that specific time where it's the inverse, right? Where you want to show, if you want to show a character getting zoomed out with, you basically will just shrink them and then let the scene get bigger. And then maybe there's a transition scene where you show the differences in between. You show the character get, like you swap the character into that tinier version that you just drew right there. Because if you want to zoom out, let's again go with the example of just what you currently have on stream right now.
Mm-hmm.
You want to zoom out that, the face. You don't do it by using drawing another one for every single frame. You probably use that exact same face, and then you shrink it for a while, and then either you just let it shrink the whole time, or you swap over to a different version of the face that looks different, because otherwise you are losing details and it could potentially look awkward in comparison.
Right. So it's just more of it's less about like movies being games and more about animation as an art form just having consistent rules even across like video games, 2D, 3D, CGI, special effects. Like there's just you know, there's a lot of overlap in understanding, and it's gonna, you know, I mean, you can sit there and you can use the model of Thanos with all his little stubbies, but there's no point in it because no one's gonna see that. And it's just gonna make everything, it's just gonna be more manpower for something that is not gonna have any payoff.
Yeah. It is, but it's, yeah, because it goes into that type of stuff. But it also, like, you know, he's saying it's not just like games into or movies should be like games or whatever. Like that also is just, it's true for just like real life. Like if I have a picture that, let's imagine I paint, or I get like this really cool, I get this cool accomplishment, and then I have an image or something of it to remember things by. You're not going to see, like, I'm not going to hide that in a closet if I want to show it off. It's a matter of like, okay, well, if there's something that I've put the effort into, that time into, well, then I will put it in a place where you can see that I put the time and effort into it. And then if I've got the stuff that looks really ugly, you bet I'm going to keep it in that closet, because I don't want you to see all that ugly stuff.
Shit.
Exactly.
That's for the vault.
It's for the vault, the Disney vault.
That is real.
Yeah. But it's not just, it isn't just the animation stuff there. It's just the actual way that people prefer to show things. Like, why put effort into something that no one's going to see? I'd probably lose encouragement there. Be like, oh, why? Yeah, I don't want
to. Yeah. You would love to ask an industry professional from both sides. Well, I mean, you think of stuff like The Mandalorian. A lot of that was filmed like in Unity, which is a game engine. So, or not Unity, Unreal.
Yeah.
They used Unreal in a lot of the shots for The Mandalorian. So there's a lot of overlap in game development and even like movies and stuff like that. So, I mean, it would definitely be interesting to get like takes on it, because I mean, like I said, it's a lot, there's a lot more overlap than I think meets the eye on the surface. But yeah, I will I do like talking. I'm glad you're here to talk about like Marvel stuff, because a lot of people, I think, overlook that Thanos is animated.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know Josh Brolin did not become that much taller, purple, and get a ball sack chin just for the movies. I know. Sorry, didn't mean to ruin that for everyone.
I can't believe you said that, actually. Kind of fucked up.
I know. I'm pretty controversial like that.
I can't believe you. I am gonna cry now. You've really broken my brain here.
Oh, that's solid. Yeah, that's good. I think that's solid for your viewership.
My brokey brain.
Exactly.
Brokey brain.
Dude, my brain brokey.
I don't know if my brain ever fixie. But
yeah, that wasn't an option for me.
Brain started brokey, never got fixie.
Yeah.
But
I tried contacting customer support, they wouldn't answer.
He ain't dedicated to the role like Christian Bale.
Exactly.
Hater.
They said I'd have to use their text line for the customer support, which I absolutely hate using those text lines.
Hell no, dude. I'll just die instead. Thanks, though.
It's atrocious.
Hate a text line. Whenever the pandemic was happening, I had to take my mom to the doctor all the time, and they make you do like the text thing in the car. It was stupid. I hated it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's no.
It was annoying.
That was not fun.
Especially because my mom doesn't know how to use phones, so I had to go every single time.
Oh god, that's even worse.
Yeah. She doesn't have like a smartphone. They're like, oh, you need a smartphone to like make an appointment. And she's like, I don't have one. They're like, we don't believe you. And like, she doesn't. She really doesn't.
That's so unfortunate.
I
do. I wish you didn't need a smartphone for everything. Like as someone who has one, I absolutely hate how much everyone wants all the information on your smartphone as well. And just they're like, we don't need to talk to you normally anymore.
Like, but I don't wanna.
Exactly, it sucks.
I do hate. Well, we have like 10 minutes. I had 2 questions for you. I'm gonna ask them both to you.
Definitely done a great job.
Yeah, I have 2 more questions. You can answer whichever one you want in more detail, whichever one you have more information about or would like to talk more about. The first question is, what is your least favorite animated feature, or just like, I don't know, maybe style, since we've been talking more about like animation styles and stuff like that? And the second question is, what is your biggest like animation hear me out or hot take?
Okay, yeah. I think the least favorite anime, especially in terms of like style.
Yeah.
What's the correct answer here? I'm trying to think this through.
There's not a correct answer. It's just an opinion.
Well, my correct answer, personal.
Oh, okay.
Answer. It's. Huh. Oh yeah, I didn't have good answers for either one of these two. So these are the ones that I probably would have to think about. But my initial thing is just like, I don't know, places that just have bad animation that just should, in my opinion, should stop. And again, I talk more CGI stuff that just should stop probably trying to do so much CGI. It feels like.
Yeah.
Like I remember in particular. Yeah, I was gonna say like I used to watch the Flash TV show on CW.
Oh.
And that show, I think, is a really good example of like, I don't think you don't really need to be this animated. I think you don't like either put more money in this or just stop.
Right.
Because it's not that great anyway.
Ugh. There's like, yeah, I think CW is the most like egregious CG users. Mm-hmm. For people that don't have like a real good budget for CG. Because like, what's crazy about like CG, like I guess it's less expensive than practical effects. I'm really not sure, but I feel like it looks worse. I feel like a decent, like, kind of like not great werewolf outfit would look better than a shitty CG werewolf.
I agree with that. I'm gonna give 2 examples of those 2 in particular because that's an easy one.
Yeah.
The 3rd Harry Potter movie?
Okay.
The CG, they did a CG werewolf in that. that was what was it? That was really not that great looking, but it was part of their story, so they went for it. And
yeah, this is something.
It was maybe part of the time or whatever, but like I don't know. I think there's a difference between part of the time and also just like the way it looks, because I really wasn't a fan of that. And then in comparison, a more recent thing which used a lot less CGI was again Marvel, because that's what I know. It was called Werewolf by Night, where they actually did a whole thing where they filmed everything in black and white as well. Or they filmed it to be seen in black and white. I think there's other versions of it that aren't black and white now, but that was one where they used those details and made a werewolf thing just happen to the guy itself. It just gave him the outfit for it.
They just put like hair on him.
Yeah, exactly. And it just looked infinitely better.
Yeah. It just is, it's easier to fake shit like that. And like, I guess I don't know how much money this would have cost. Like, because a lot of these decisions for studios is just money based. Like, is this expensive? Mm-hmm. Which one's cheaper? Like, there's just a whole ass like thing that is just based off of like which is cheaper. But surely this that I'm looking at, like this isn't even a lot of prosthetics. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sure that like the application of the hair is a lot, but I feel like it has to be less expensive than CG werewolf.
Yeah. I think that's CG werewolf also, but it just seems like, if you ask studios, like they're like, yeah, it's gonna be a CG werewolf. We want it to be as like terrifying as possible. And I think to get to to a different level there, it's just like that real people can be so much more terrifying than any CG stuff you do.
Right, like a real person, like a person that looks off in a way that looks like mutated or malformed is going to look more unsettling than if you tried to recreate that in CG. Mm-hmm. Because like you'll get uncanny, but I think that you risk it being funny. Mm-hmm. As opposed to it being like unsettling. Yeah. And I think that werewolves as a thing are, in general, I don't think a lot of people are scared of werewolves as a concept.
Yeah, I'd probably think that's a fair thing to say. Yeah. I think it's more I think, and it's the scene that unfortunately you literally see the least of, again, going back to that Harry Potter thing, and I don't believe it's the same way inside of the Werewolf by Night. Maybe actually they hide it in there as well, but that literally you see them mutate, you see them transform, and I think that's much more terrifying about like that idea where you see a human or someone like that just themselves just get changed, get mutated, warped in some way.
Like the bones breaking and like flesh rending into this like unholy form. Mm-hmm. Like werewolves are very early versions of like body horror, Yeah. Which I think has just been
is sick.
Yeah, it's cool.
As someone, or what is it? I can't do honestly real horror stuff, but like that like uncanny valley, that like weird stuff, I think is also can be really awesome. And there's a lot of very interesting places for that stuff to go that I don't think many studios will go with. I don't know. I don't have, unfortunately, like that hot take there. The most I have is that I've really liked the Lego Ninjago show, and I don't think it ages in any way, shape, or form. So like you can go that, but otherwise, like I don't have any actual legitimate takes in terms of that, other than just like oftentimes I think the way people actually are can do a lot better than what you need to do with CG.
Yeah, I will usually be a fan of a practical effect over a CG effect. Mm-hmm. But because like you think of things like Mad Max, like where a lot of the crashes are like real, like they just like did that. And then you think of like other properties where they do like the the car crashes like not like they just do CG and stuff like that, and it's like you can feel the impact more, but the issue is to crash a real car is going to be way more expensive than to make a car crash in a computer.
Yeah, exactly. And so, people definitely just would save money there.
Yeah, especially like if you fuck up that take, what are you gonna do? Get a whole new car?
Yeah.
Like.
And then but also another reason why that's not done is because like, okay, well, not only do you have to make sure you don't screw up this take, but then you have to make sure that there's 15 other aspects there in particular that have to all get their thing correct.
Right.
And so, right, you have to make sure the explosives department works correctly. You have to make sure that you've got everyone on standby because you're about to make a really big explosion. You have to do like so much other things in particular that it's sometimes a lot easier just to be like, you know what, I'm good. Let's just let's CG it.
Yeah.
Just act really scared, everyone.
Yeah, and that's where like shows like The Mandalorian are really interesting. Just from a production standpoint, I've never seen it, but it makes the lighting more convincing because they have like these giant like real-time screens, and like the actors can see things in real time versus like you said when it's like CG, and you have to pretend, and like there are actors that do a great job at that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on actors that are like, you know, trying their hardest to like react to something that they have to like make believe, basically. Because that is part of the job, and like there are great performances where that happens, but it's just nice to be able to see things really there and not like a guy in a green screen that's supposed to be like a placeholder where that thing that you're believing is there is gonna go. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I hope so, because it didn't feel like it made sense when it came out of my mouth.
Well, I think it made sense as to me at least. So I think you at least did some of it right. So take that.
Cool.
There you go. But no, it's. I think there's a lot of that's the fun part of, like you said, with the animations. There's many different layers and ways to go about the discussions. And while I may not be the most conventional of it, because as I've stated before, I just don't have that knowledge. I hope it wasn't my knowledge, my experience wasn't completely uncanny there.
No, I think that it's awesome. I think that I know that you were coming in and like not sure. You're like, oh, I don't really watch a lot of cartoons, and I'm like, well, you like Marvel, right? And you're like, you know, I do like Marvel, and I kind of went into it thinking that maybe you'd be talking more about like stuff like X-Men 96 or like some of those properties. But I also was like, there's a lot of CG in just the regular movies, like you said, like Thanos or like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like half of that cast is CG, like stuff like that. Plus you play Marvel games, you play Marvel Snap, and Marvel Snap has pretty cool UI and very interesting like animations, and it's just like a card game. Like
yeah. No, there's I made a point not to, because there's a bunch of dumb stuff I can go into with that, where it's just like that is all just they just do a lot of very specific animations on some bits, and they have animations where they will do a full bit where it looks like it's actually animated, or it's animated in a way that they do what we mentioned earlier with like the rubbering thing, where they just kind of bend certain aspects in order to give it an animated aspect. But yeah, there's a lot of that stuff as well. But I honestly think there's more interesting conversations to be had around the animation that occurs in, I don't know, the products being made as of recently. Which, speaking of the Avengers movie, right? That got delayed, I think, for got delayed for like half a year or whatever. I think it's
there's
what
a
they
new
recently
one coming
announced.
out.
It was going to come out like around this time next year, and they're currently filming it. Then they changed the release date somewhat recently to say that it actually would be coming out like end of next year instead, which I still think is ambitious, but it's also, you give time for those animations to at least look good, because a lot of animations can, if you don't give them the time, they can just give, to go back to the conversation earlier, Shark Boy Lava Girl.
Yeah. And I will say, in Shark Boy and Lava Girl's defense, that was all it needed to be.
No.
Right?
I'm saying it. I'm love Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but I'm also gonna say that, like, for today's day and age, I don't think it should still be that way.
Yeah. No. And there's a time and place for, like, goofy and maybe a little uncanny animation, right? Like, Shark Boy and Lava Girl doesn't need Thanos levels of detail and, like, believability, given its, everything that it's doing. It can just be goofy and kind of weird and not great, from a technical standpoint, and completely get its point across, and completely be, like, entertainment, and not take away from its overall story, because it's just not that deep.
Yeah.
It can be goofy.
It can just be like a little bit goofy.
It can be a little bit goofy. Like, I don't think that it's, like, it is technically not as impressive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. That's my take.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people are like, if I'm not seeing the hairs on their chinny chin chin, it's shitty shit. I'm like,
yeah, I don't think it needs.
It doesn't need all that.
It depends on what you're trying to do. I will say I think that, like, Pixar has done that stuff where they try to go for those things, and I think that's probably a fair place where, like, yeah, I want to see you do this high level because it's kind of what you're known for. At the same time, I'm not expecting everything to be at this insane level, this insane design or whatever, because it's really not a easy thing to ask, and not something I expect from, every single thing I'm going to be watching.
And it's also
sometimes, like you said,
not necessary.
Shark Boy Lava Girl. No one complained about that when it came out.
No,
said it was fine.
Everyone loves George Lopez Robot Man.
Dude, I love Mr. Electric. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Does that CG animation, does it age particularly well? Is it particularly impressive? Maybe not. But it didn't make you like it less.
Yeah. 100%.
It's awesome.
It's pretty cool, my thing.
Yeah. But thank you, Dance, for coming on our little yap session. It was very nice, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I liked hearing your takes on live action versus practical versus CGI. It was very cool and fun, and I liked introducing you to the concept of Burt Reynolds.
Thank you. I appreciate the knowledge of just Burt Reynolds just in general.
Yeah, now you have that. He exists.
I do have it now. I know another human exists. It's so cool when I learn about more of those.
I know. You love remembering names.
I love remembering names. I wish I could do it more often.
Okay.
That'll be fun. It is. Anyway, I'll probably have to never talk to you again.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be losing. No, seriously, it was good times. Good times.
Well, have a good day, and thank you for joining.
You as well. Great times. Goodbye.
Boop. And thank you guys for hanging out. I think we're gonna go do a silly little raid. But for YouTube, I'm gonna say bye-bye, YouTube. Hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you, Skipper, for hanging out. And thank you, everybody. I have to hear myself. I hate when I have to hear myself.